So if you're excited about Dataware, often a question becomes, well, how do you actually get started? Do you simply go and rebuild the dozens or hundreds or maybe even thousands of existing applications? Well, if you do that, you're going to get fired. Of course, don't do that. That would be silly. The only answer is that it's not a rip and replace. It's really, how do you deliver a change in how you implement change such that your transformation happens as a byproduct of change. Don't create a Dataware project or a Dataware budget. It's simply applying it to your projects that are creating business capabilities and business outcomes that you need to get done anyway. And the advantage is you can accelerate those projects while enabling the transformation. So if hypothetically this was your current state, let's imagine you have 3 applications that were already built or bought, and maybe they're SaaS, maybe they're on-prem, it doesn't matter. And let's imagine for a second you already have maybe a data warehouse, and you already have these systems integrated. Well, that's great. And if you don't have any changes that you need to make and everything's cool, well, don't use Dataware. But if you do have changes, so let's say hypothetically that you wanted to build on top of this and add 3 new business capabilities that required you to get some new applications. Well, if you go down the conventional path without Dataware to add 3 applications, let's imagine that you build 2 of them and you buy 1 of them, maybe it's a SaaS app. Simply to add these 3 applications, you may have to build up to 15 integrations between your existing apps and your new apps, even between your new apps to send data from the new apps into the warehouse. That's a lot of work. That can be half of the budget. That reduces the time to value of your new business capabilities. Well, if you were starting from the same position, but instead of not using Dataware, you applied Dataware not to rebuild what you have, but to change how you implement your projects, this is what that future looks like. It's dramatically simpler. Instead of up to 15, you have up to 5. That's net less 10. And this is in a very simple scenario where you're simply adding 3 new solutions. If you were adding 30 or 300, this would grow exponentially. So the key is to apply it to your projects that you need to implement a change wherever you would have otherwise needed to do some integration or buy or build an application, or even if it's extending an application. And anytime there's data involved, that's your opportunity to simplify. So if your current reality looks like on the left, where your apps are trapping and siloing your data, you've got that integration burden, then you get started by identifying the projects wherever you need to buy, build, or integrate, and avoid new integration for new apps and use last copy integration to unlock the data from existing systems such that you never need to reintegrate that data again. And next thing you know, you're moving from the left to the right and getting ever closer to this vision where integration is no longer required and data is simply at the disposal of everyone who has the rightful access to either see or change it. It's that panacea that vendors have been promising us for many decades is actually now achievable, but not overnight.